lost one boy, but
now it is.
Wow, look at that.
Spouse
Okay.
Nice work.
and new boyfriend were there, and then just kids, grandkids.
Just quiet, normal.
Quiet.
7.
Yeah, 215.
You're almost a zip code by yourself.
Two 15-pound turkeys.
Oh, gee.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
I'm surprised that's enough.
Well, so there are a few vegetarians in it that didn't eat meat. So there are a lot of vegetables and stuffing that doesn't have meat in it, stuff like that.
Just not quite the same though, but
I don't think so. But don't count me as one of those. No, we had
each
rent,
their own.
rent plates, champagne flutes, wine glasses.
Whoa, it's very traditional.
Wow.
Well, for us, yeah,
Yeah.
because we tasted some Pulci, Montrachet, one of the best white burgundies there is. Period.
Wow.
Wow.
Some Bualls that were over 100 years old.
Can I get on your list?
No wonder.
His jerk tail relative.
A pretty, then we tasted five Kashuba wines. So my niece has a vineyard, so.
What did she grow?
It's all cab, but she also purchased some Chardonnay on Monterey, Monterey coast. So we tasted that for the first time. And then, just a whole bunch of different wine tastings. So that's why we had to have all the wine glasses and champagne flutes and all that kind of stuff.
This is an event.
It is, yeah.
So
For
he's bringing that to the
20
North American QSO party.
Plus years.
What's that?
All the
Wow.
best white wine there is.
Oh,
Is it okay if I let her in?
absolutely.
What is it? Yeah, I guess.
Speaking of the QSO party, did you want to host the one in January?
Fine.
Okay.
I need to have somebody come over and make sure my radio is working. No, I'm serious, it's brand new and I don't.
Oh, yeah. So you want to test it
I
out?
wanna make sure I've got it set up.
So you have a spare in case it doesn't?
Last year's radio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
Did
Yeah,
you get your
Tanner's
antenna fixed?
back up.
It fixed itself.
That's the best
Oh,
kind.
that's dependable.
Yeah.
I think that's called intermittent.
Well, it's only intermittent once.
Yeah.
What's a new radio?
K4.
Well, that'd be a great opportunity so that you would walk away from the event knowing how to operate it fully.
Yeah.
After John gets his hands on it.
Is there a little learning curve on that K4? Or you're pretty familiar with their.
Well, I had
system.
a K3, so it all the ports and plugs were the same, so you just unplug one in the back and unplug the next one.
What's his
It's
call?
just got a TV screen on it.
Yeah, it's got a TV screen on
I forget.
it, and
Cathode ray tube. Ron.
Ron. What's your call?
WB6 DMX.
We need to invest in those little labels,
Oh, the badges.
the badges.
Oh, come on.
You think a guy
That might be
who just
pushing it,
bought
huh?
a K4 can afford a badge?
no,
Now, come on.
Yeah, that's
Red
right.
that says of courage.
Don't they have 3D printers built into a K4? You can probably just make it.
right? No, you're supposed to, right?
That's a tough crowd, I'll tell
It's
you.
got a lot of bells and whistles.
Oh, I got a question for the two of you.
Yes.
What logging software do you use?
I use hand-rated.
Evening, Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
You're hearing us okay, apparently, huh?
I sure am. I got to get more audio. I got a different laptop here, so I'm just using this for the first time on Zoom.
Logging software.
Okay.
Would you be interested?
Sound good, but I just need to get a little more audio level.
Oh, yeah. The microphone, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got till February.
I'll bring those over. I got
The speaker's part of the TV.
We're looking at two besides cleaning house.
What you're saying is no. Say, just say no.
I can say no,
Okay.
but I would be interested in learning about it.
That doesn't help my cause.
No, he
I
doesn't.
mean, we ate outside.
Just adds
It
to
was
it.
nice enough.
I'm sorry?
Just adds to
There's
it.
an Airbnb
No.
next door. We only had 3 people extra staying.
Instead of 4 or 5 people asking it, now I got 6.
Did
Uh,
they ask for any particular software?
No. I'd like to,
It's still
I don't know what's the most popular.
Red coffee and.
I don't know what the most popular logging software is.
I think you're gonna ask 10 people, you end up with 10 different answers, you know.
3.
Hamburger deluxe is very common, but a lot of people don't like it.
So the other one is M3F. What is it? M3F.
That's the one we use for field.
Yeah,
That's for contests.
yeah, I like that one. No, it's for everything.
It's got a general.
For 50 bucks, you can get everything.
You'll do logging also?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll do.
General
logging.
logging, oh, yeah, that's what I use.
And then there's
And-
N1MM too.
The nice thing about it is, you can buy part of it or all of it, and then if you wanna buy the rest later, they just charge you for what's left. But the whole thing's only 50 bucks, I mean,
Has anybody ever talked to the guy that owns the company?
Yeah, I have. He's the nicest guy.
yeah, it sure seems like it, you know, I've watched the
That's
videos.
what- I'll give him a call and see if he'll put on a little session. That's how I really do it.
Do it on Zoom.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
The
this
program's,
logging stuff.
Yeah.
program's called
That'd be
Mac Logger DX.
So with that,
Well, there
But
aren't,
it's,
there aren't too many.
there aren't any Mac users.
Well, there
It
are
works.
some. That question was asked, but it's like maybe 6, 7, 8%.
So
I
the,
get tired of sharpening pencils, so.
oh geez.
I heard
guy's name
computers
is
were
Scott,
invented
isn't it?
and some people do this kind of stuff.
You were so bad. No wonder you had.
Born that way.
Isn't the guy's name Scott something that wrote the software?
well, you don't allow a computer in your
It's
shack,
FJP.
but you have a rig in the house when you need to use the computer while you're on the air.
So I was on the air and I had, in a
What
contest.
doesn't belong with a bow
And-
ender?
And I
It's
worked
next to
him,
the 73.
and the
I mean, the
computer went,
7300 is
Yeah, you have a point
thanks
there.
for working my, working.
It is a
me," you know, and all
museum.
that kind of stuff.
Boat Anchor Shack, it really is class act.
Holy smokes.
Oh, I forgot to lock the door, who came in?
Breaks, breaks.
Hey, there he, oh, he got food? Oh, he can come in. Hi, Dennis.
Hi.
I still have about 4 or 5 volumes of.
Ooh, we got some people waiting to come in here.
Required to log
I was
everything.
trying to make it so it would beep or something, but
Being 1970s.
didn't figure out
You
how
see,
to
you
do that.
see,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That-
we knew
that-
you were coming.
So I have all my logs.
Yeah,
I
it's
did-
you.
I did a rod race.
So,
and
Chris is
Alaska,
logged in?
and you had to log every single contact.
Chris is joining us.
Now it's up.
That's quite a ringtone.
Yeah, Chris.
You let me in?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay. Okay, let me try something.
Well, how are things? Mike was just telling us he had 32 for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So 32 times 4.
I'm having trouble, writing everybody down since the secretary's not here.
You must have had at least 10 dozen.
Well, everyone identified, you know, you put a little.
Okay,
ring
so
on
we
it,
got
so
Steve, we got Rob.
So we had water, so they had to rinse it. But,
Which is a recurring meeting, I'm still, what's
but we only got 20 champagne blips, because not everyone drinks bubbly.
That's weird, what's going on?
I don't know, I admitted you.
That's still plenty. Yeah, this was a record. 26 of them.
No?
I'm gonna hang up so we can hear you maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
What was the farthest distance?
Washington DC.
Well, maybe we'll hear him.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have Pat. Pat Hall.
It was good. Well, yeah, but small. Our daughter and granddaughter were coming out, but they had to cancel. My daughter developed a narrowing in a small blood vessel in her brain. which of course scared the crap out of me, but apparently
Kevin.
it's something that they treat. She didn't want to fly until she made sure everything was safe.
I'm still doing one.
44. But the thing is, our granddaughter's what I was looking forward to. She's 9. I love that kid. Love to play with that kid.
I mean, the next generation.
Chores for the poor kid.
My 4-year-old
Christmas, we're going to Daniel.
We only have
Yeah, they're
one,
doing
so
it.
it's.
You can
It's a
spoil a
miss.
crud out of
They
them.
realize.
Oh, yeah.
Grandpa
Yeah.
can't do it all anymore.
Feed him everything and mom won't let him have.
That's right.
And we had this
It's our
whole
job, then
litany
you
of
go
things scheduled, you know. Have you guys been to the Smud Science Museum?
Yeah.
We went-
Mosac.
That's on our list, actually.
It's got a
That's
name.
What
pretty
happened
cool.
to
Mosac.
Pat?
Mosac?
Yeah.
So we did that, and we went to see
Pat
the
disappeared.
Van Gogh Art Museum.
Pat turned into Kevin.
That was pretty cool.
It's a pucker, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. No, it's the safe.
Evening, Rob.
Good evening.
Then we went out to see a Eagles
Okay, so that's
tribute band
Okay, yeah.
out at
we had
out in
Pat
Folsom,
Hall.
at, Harris Center.
and Pat disappeared.
So, you know, we were culture vultures. We didn't have any 32 people. Or 17 different wine tastings.
Chris. Kevin.
Really, I fit right in on that list. I'm liking the sounds of this.
It's pretty fun.
Was it at your house or? Oh.
Yeah, we actually had the tasting out in the bamboo. So there's a little bamboo forest there. We actually had a commercial photographer that's using that photo shoot.
Hey, John, Pat Hall was me, actually, but it was under my wife's name.
Oh, okay, okay.
It sounds.
Thank you, Kevin.
Better than it really was.
No sweat.
I kind of suspect that's not true.
Thought that was a new visitor. Although she can visit too, for that matter. But anyway, that was.
Boy, howdy.
All right. So let's see if we got 1, 2,
13
3,
total.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Plus 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And Zoom, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One,
pretty well.
2, 3, 4. I got an extra one. Oh, I know why.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
No, Chris, we can't hear you.
Okay, I figured you didn't hear me. That's good. Okay.
How
So
about
you
you?
broke away from the party, did you?
Yeah, I had to go get a headphone.
You hear all the party going on back here?
Yeah, not
Oh, you
here.
said there was a party, right?
There is, actually.
No, we don't hear it.
Oh, good. They're not
It's
yelling.
a
down
local
there.
microphone, I guess, huh?
I need to go in there, I guess.
You must have 97 acres in your estate.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Oh, good. You sound great too.
I know Rob's here. Yeah. There you are. Looks like everybody got their invitation.
Is he taking notes online?
So, so Chris, I think we can get rolling now.
Chris, you are taking notes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Back, so.
Well, for as long as I'm here.
Okay.
It won't be long, but I'll be here.
Oh, it won't be long. Well, we better have the election real quick then.
That's right. I like a rushed election. Anybody want to run for office besides us guys? That
Right.
are
Are there any nominees?
How fast do you have to run?
I'm gonna walk. I would prefer
You
that.
violated the first rule. You're supposed to be able to hear a pin drop.
Yeah, I nominate Chris.
Get out of that deal.
Chris just got nominated.
I think you guys.
Was that a serious nomination?
Up for another 3 years.
Really, I like that.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we want Chris to be the Zoom coordinator. Boy, that's a job.
Yeah, that's an idea. That's an idea. Okay, so are we gonna vote to have the same officers and,
Yeah, right now we have John, WB6UBK as president. We have David, K6CIM. He is the vice president. Secretary is some guy named Chris, AI6U. Don't know why he's still there. And the treasurer is Phil, KD6RM. And then for directors, we have Dennis KG6ZI, Bob KA9MDP. Finally got a call straight. And Carol KP4MD. Those are the current elected officers and directors.
Okay, so how do we do, go ahead.
I move that the slate of officers all be accepted by acclamation.
I second it.
Ooh.
Well, that's a pretty fancy word. What's that mean?
Saying yes.
You know, he is an educator.
I understand.
Not anymore.
But it's in your blood.
It's hard to shake.
That's good, okay. So, all in favor of that?
Aye. Like unanimous. Sounds like. Anybody
I think we're
opposed?
activated. Okay, one more year the same then.
Yeah,
Only hopefully better.
hopefully better. Well, I think we
I'm
got a
slow,
long
but
way.
I'm learning.
We're all learning. We're all
With
learning.
the email stuff.
You know, we
5 or
found
6 years later.
That's what I was gonna
3
say.
years before
No.
official.
Yeah, we may be joking, but let's look back at where we were a year ago and where you are today.
Yeah,
And you guys deserve an incredible amount of thanks.
yeah, it's been a team effort.
It is. It is definitely that.
I think they deserve a round of applause.
Okay, let
Particularly
me
with
see,
the,
before I go, let me
the
see what,
state paperwork that Dennis.
in other words, you got
Good job, huh?
12 more months of this to put up with us, so maybe you'll think about it next year.
Maybe.
But in the meantime, who's here? Let's see, who's at your plate, John?
We have Neil. Well, why don't we just, everybody
HQR.
announce themselves,
Oh, that's fair enough.
then Chris can hear it.
Okay, Neil, KL7HQR.
Gotcha.
Bob N6PGQ.
Gotcha.
John WB6UBK.
Got you.
David K6CIM.
Yep.
Bob, KA9MDP.
Gotcha.
Bill, KD6RM.
Okay, got you rascals down. Okay, about online, who do we got?
Well, we're not done yet.
Oh, we got more.
Oh, we got one more? Oh,
We got Dennis.
More.
Dennis, KT6ZI.
got you, Dennis. Thank you.
W6DMX.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome back. Forgot your
That's
name.
Ron.
Ron, yay, DNX. Gotcha.
Mike K6L kid.
Yeah, okay, Mike, got you. Wow, I'm missing out on these nice cookies.
And then online, we have Steve, K7SF,
All right,
Rob, K6KIX, I'm sorry, N6KIX,
all right.
Kevin, W6KN.
With his wife call, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then some guy, some weird call, I don't know who it is, AI6U.
Oh, no. Do we have him in here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't even have a picture, so I don't know who he is.
Well, 13 people here. Nice.
Yeah, very good.
That's one of our larger turnouts.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Brought goodies. All righty. So who went to PacificCon? All right, who wants to talk first?
I'll let Dennis go.
Okay.
All right.
We chatted down there.
Okay. I'm gonna bail, guys. Thanks a lot, huh?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris.
I gotta go back to the party here.
Come back when you can't stay so long.
Yeah, I will. It's Patty's 65th, so that's what's going on.
Oh, well, that's important, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good
I
reason.
can't remember my 65th. It was too long ago.
I don't remember either, but she can remember this one, I'm sure. Oh, yeah.
73, Chris.
Okay, guys. Good night. Good night.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris.
Bye,
Okay.
Chris.
Bye. Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, I went to PacificCon and ran into this guy here, along the way. I've been to most of them since 2012. And this one I noticed, of course, 2020 was not there.
Right.
Last year was different, it was lower. This year the turnout I thought was better.
It was better than last year.
It was clearly better. I thought that the the level of the technical talks was a little bit diminished, I thought. It's kind of at a lower level than I was accustomed to, that I recall from other Pacific conferences.
So there was just as many talks, but not as technical,
Seemed
less
like
technical,
there-
watered down?
At least as many, no more than last year. Maybe a few more, a few less, you think?
You know, I've always enjoyed Pacificon. Has anybody been to Dayton?
Yeah, but a long time ago. Yeah.
I might go this year.
I found that Pacificon has better sessions than Dayton. And I think a lot of it's due to the fact that it's right there in Silicon Valley. I think that has a lot to do with it. And you know, what's tough for everybody is we're still getting off the COVID wagon. You know, there was a lot of people who said they didn't want to attend, they were afraid of contracting COVID. And a lot of people are still contracting COVID.
22?
Yeah. And so their attendance was better, but it was not at the old levels. I think their attendance, if I heard the numbers right, is something like 2,100 or 2,200, and the prior year was like 2,100. That number may not be right, but it was just slightly greater than last year. And the sessions that I went to were all fairly good. Did you go antenna? You go antenna? The antenna seminar, which is one of my favorite parts, that's the one they do on Fridays, all day. It wasn't as intense. Steve Stern wasn't presenting.
He wasn't, he was in the audience,
So
but he wasn't there.
So my eyes didn't roll back.
In class over.
No
He's
nap
pretty
time.
technical, huh?
Oh my God, this guy,
He's wonderful.
he, I don't want to accuse him of this, but it seems like this is the case. I think when you listen to Steve, you are convinced that he wants you to know how smart he is. Now that, again, that's probably not his intent, but it sure comes off that way. Because he throws stuff up on the wall there that, you know, it kind of zooms right on over the top.
Does he have PhD next to his name?
He must. I don't know for sure.
I believe he is PhD.
Well, you know
There
what,
tends to be a correlation.
Yes.
you know what PhD means.
Tell us.
Permanent head damage.
Well, but in any event, you know.
What was that?
Permanent head.
Permanent. I like that
But
one.
all the guys, I think they did a reasonable job.
I think so too.
And I think in terms of your comment about the technical sessions weren't quite as good as they have been, I think it probably kind of gets back to that same COVID.
You may be right. I mean, you can't have good technical sessions if you don't have people coming to give them.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe that'll be the case.
Now,
Would you still say that, the, technical sessions for 22 were superior to Dayton?
well, I've only been to Dayton once, but from what I saw at Dayton, I'd say yes. And the other one that I went to was, the one up in Seaside, Oregon.
Yes, that works really pretty good.
It's not up to Pacific Coast.
Yeah, Seaside.
Nowhere close.
No close.
It's a cute little
It's
town.
fun. It's a great
And
location.
the,
So go for the town.
the family spaghetti feed thing they do over at the school is kind of cool. But it's not on the same level.
You guys are also a little higher educated or proficient than the average ham too. I think your bar is a little bit higher.
Our bars are, I like the bar.
Yeah, we should go.
Yeah.
So in any event, I'm trying to think of any one particular session I found particularly enlightening. And nothing really stands out.
I was thinking about that too, and the one that came to my mind, I went to the Parks on the Air, Summits on the Air, one again this year, and it was equally, even though I went last year, the same topic, it was still good one to go to.
Different speaker.
Good speaker.
Yeah. It was Joe Walsh that was.
No, I didn't see it. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I don't recall anything else in particular either.
You know, the one bummer about this one, there was a friend of mine, he and I started in ham radio, or actually in electronics, when I was about 8. And he became my buddy. This was up in Reading. And Dennis and I went to every swap meet together, every Pacificon together, and he died this past year of pancreatic cancer.
He was the one, I remember you telling me.
And, you know, you kind of lose that wing, and it kind of takes some of the fun.
What was this called?
Sure.
He was WA6 UHF. He big time repeater. In fact, he bought a repeater site.
Bought the site,
He
huh?
bought the site.
Wow.
And,
Don't
know,
make
he
as
was
much
in
money
all
as
that
a cell site.
I'm sorry?
Don't make quite as much money on a repeater site as you would from a cell site.
I think
so, no.
I hate to tell you how much money he lost on that deal. Of course, his wife was in no position to deal with it. He ended up giving her away. I think he paid something like $80,000 for this site. Good Lord. And he just gave it to a ham friend up there in Chico. And, you know, some of the for using his site. Really nice guy.
C2N repeater.
There we go.
What was that?
So anyway, all in all, I think it was well worthwhile.
You operate the station?
I'm sorry?
Did either of you operate the station?
No.
I do that every day.
You know, that's an interesting station. They use one tri-bander, right?
Yeah.
And they have a triplexer.
Yeah.
So you can run all three bands off of that one
1,500
antenna.
watts.
And I actually built a triplexer
Hmm.
for our club. And we used it last year at field day. They have to build individual bandpass filters and triplexer.
Filtering out there is like huge.
Well, those are 1,500 watt
1,500
amplifiers.
watts.
Yeah, they're fan cool.
Yeah, I worked Pacificon this year on CW. W1AW slant six.
There didn't seem to be a lot of guys running that station. I didn't
It's
notice
never
a lot
been
of
as
them.
busy as I thought it should be. I never had a problem walking out. Of course, it's not all that busy and I'm a CW, so.
You know, nobody wants your world. Those CW guys.
Yeah.
So John joined us too, KE0ZUW. So.
Hello there.
Kansas, is that what the KS
Kansas,
is?
that's-
Yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Were
Very
there,
good.
Glad to have you.
were there any new community
Good to
groups?
be here.
I know it's a little far to
There
commute to be in
just
person,
usual,
so.
like,
Yeah.
Someday.
It was the same
I
usual
didn't
one.
see
The
anything new
the,
in that regard.
aircraft carrier group was there.
Right.
The fast cam TV people were there. There were a few companies that I expected to be there that weren't.
There was an outfit there that built replacement power supplies.
Yes, there
For
is.
some Japanese rigs.
He moved from like Colfax to Lincoln, and he's still doing it for the Kenwood 930s and what's the other one, 970 maybe?
Are you talking about Jeff?
Yeah,
Hilliard?
he builds the power supplies for him.
Replacement supplies.
Yeah, I thought the antenna seminar, a lot of the presentations would work well, like at a River City Arcs Club meeting. They weren't that technical, but kind of interesting, like the lady that built Yagis out of metal rulers
The
or
Velcro,
something like that. Yeah,
Velcro,
she had them
yeah,
on Velcros, and she'd add directors and add reflectors and all that kind of stuff by Velcroing it on the board.
She was good.
It was
Was
interesting.
that Kirsten?
No,
And Kirsten was always a good speaker. She
Yeah,
spoke.
yeah.
Very technical, but she can be very understandable as well.
She has a gift for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Anybody who's not gone to one of those really owes it to themselves to make a funky move.
Yeah, I really don't have an excuse. It's only a 2-hour drive.
you get up
But
early.
Carol
on
says it's gonna
Saturday,
be
don't
Sacramento
leave.
next year, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Who's gonna run it?
Well,
Huh?
Well,
here's what's
that's-
going on.
That's the thing.
Carol was saying that
Anything in
it
the Bay
might be
Area,
in Sacramento next year.
Oh, geez.
the cost of hotel rooms is so high that they have a difficult time finding a venue to put this event on.
Mont Diablo's having a hard time making make it work economically.
It's a hard go, and you know, the ham radio community is typically not an affluent community. There's obviously some who are, and there's obviously some who aren't.
Or just
Even
cheap.
if they are, they
That's
squeeze
true,
their
yeah.
wallet
That's another way
very
of
tight.
putting it. No,
So-
you're right on both counts. Yeah.
So it makes it tough.
It's a cross section, yeah.
The problem with that thing moving is you need a tremendous number of people
It's a lot of logistics.
to put that thing together, to operate it, to supervise it, to support it, handle all the technical sessions, get things in, get things
Would
out.
they partner with the club here?
Well,
MDRC, of course, is big enough to be able to do it on their own. They're huge. It's a huge club. And Carol was saying that the only way that we could do it in the valley, whether it's in the Seneca Valley or up here, would be to form a consortium of several clubs here
guaranteed.
to do it.
And they're working on that. I mean, they're checking it out and figuring out where it would fit. And there's a real challenge coming up for next year.
And my biggest fear is exactly what you mentioned earlier, was the fact that one of the things that makes Pacificon so good is its access to Silicon Valley community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the 2 hour thing is a big deal.
You don't think so?
I think that, you know, anybody going to those conventions, typically a 2 hour drive.
Yeah, 2 hours not that big
No,
a
but
deal.
the speakers
Well, the
might
speakers-
not wanna come and get a hotel in Sacramento to get up in the morning.
Yeah, because it'd be a third the price of one in the Bay Area.
Well, yeah.
But they didn't need what all in Bay Area.
You know, right, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a true story.
Yeah.
Of course, we were out yesterday, we went to dinner with a couple, and we went through up 50 past Folsom. And off to the right, they are building 10,000 new homes. When you see it lit up at night, you cannot believe the scale of that.
Off to the right,
Bidwell,
so above
Right
Cameron
off
Park.
of Bidwell,
right off the.
Oh, off of Bidwell,
It's all
10,000 houses.
part
part of Folsom then.
Part of the average.
Yeah, it's.
Eldorado Hills, isn't it?
That's
No,
Folsom, it's
it-
gonna be a Folsom address, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Really?
Yeah,
Bidwell.
and you
Yeah,
know,
one of these days, those two are gonna bump into each other,
you go out where Bob lives,
like
that
Rockland and
whole
Roosevelt.
world
Nuts.
is exploded.
Yeah, just
You go down to Elk Grove, that whole world has exploded.
south of me is gonna be
We're
hundreds
building
and
a whole
hundreds of
brand new Bay
houses.
Area right here.
Yeah.
And you know, the one thing about this, I still don't understand. Deb and I moved out of Sacramento 26 years ago. I moved up to Ukiah and I worked up there for a while, and then I went down to Napa. When we left Sacramento, anybody who wanted to build a home up in the Eldorado Hills area, they had to go through a raffle program to get a water meter permit. You
Ooh.
could not build a house
Right.
without a water meter permit. So
Wow.
let's fast forward all these years. What water resources have been added?
No, none,
I don't think any have been, so how are they doing it?
They're digging wells.
I guess.
Groundwater.
I don't think
You're
so.
not building any dams. That I know
That'd
of.
take a hell of a well.
They put in
Oh.
lots of them.
Bunch of them, yeah. Must be.
Yeah, water table is going down. Yeah, it's not regulated, so people
Well,
with deep pockets go deeper. suck
You know, I
it out.
actually think there is some
Everyone else.
regulation on that. Agricultural, sure. I don't know about.
But anyway, that's different.
Yeah, so again, you don't know how it could be.
But it's a higher percentage of groundwater is being used.
About 3 years ago, in the height of the. I mean, I said, we're avoiding this. Wow, for 3 months in a row. A quarter of an acre.
The
Are we done with
canal has
Pacific?
gone 5 feet.
Yeah, it doesn't go downhill as well as it used to.
Acres, field, and all that kind of stuff. So in the area, you can actually see, it's kind of like Vegas, you can actually see cracks around where they're
Rob.
sucking it out.
But I didn't have a chance to go to the Pacific, I had an interesting experience. we do a lot of cruising. We enjoy cruising. And now, I just got home in Thanksgiving Day. I missed. I'm sorry, it wasn't there. but it was a board ship. It was a transatlantic from London to Florida. The first 2 days of cruising, I was walking around and I see a gentleman with I think it's J6 Yarrow, digital radio operator. He sat down and started chatting. And so I went to the cruise director, who takes care of publishing the little daily newspaper. And I said, is there any chance that you can set up a get together with ham radio operators, unhosted, just. Sure enough, the next day it was there, in this particular lounge at 1:30 in the afternoon. And 10 people showed up.
Really?
10 people. Some of them, I have a video that I recorded. Some of them were really interesting. There was a gentleman that had spent 15 months at the South Pole, I think McMurdo or Amundsen, and he is deeply into radio astronomy, and so he's fairly well-known person in that realm. There was another gentleman who was the owner of a factory that built, the only factory, according to him, that builds satellite antennas still in the U.S. And anyway, it was interesting. And then we said, well, let's do it again. We did about an hour and did it again. And again, we did it, and not only they all showed up, but some people that had heard about ham radio came in to ask and find out what is it all about. And one gentleman was a broadcast announcer on the radio and also in the engineering, and he was absolutely, his eyes are, you mean you have satellite? You can talk to the whole world? You can talk with the hand radio? What about the internet? Your cell phone didn't kill it? Well, this is what happened. So it was, I think there were at least 3 or 4 people that were not involved in radio that kind of walked out of there. Can we have your email address and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So no one had their KX3 with them or anything like that?
No. But anyway, so I got all their call letters and all their email address. I'm gonna put a video together and send to everybody.
That's cool. Very
But
nice.
it was, so I think I'm gonna start doing that every time, just for each case, So it turned out to be an enjoyable experience. So, to operate off the ship, it can be done, but from what I understand, you need 2 things. You need to have a permit from the country where the ships are registered. In this case, it was Princess Cruises. They're registered in Bermuda. And I understand from them, it's just a question of is it protocol? Is it no big deal? But then you have to have an approval by the captain of the ship. And there are restrictions. You cannot operate in public areas, and you have a maximum power that you have a by.
You have to stay under a kilowatt?
I think it's 5 to 15. I think somewhere 5 or 15 watts that you can.
Oh, really?
So, and obviously you have to be in a balcony.
Yeah, but you got the saltwater amplifier right there.
Yeah, but you're surrounded by so much metal, that's very directional. So calling the captain and asking to move 10 degrees right away.
Well, what's wrong with that? That's a fair request.
I think so, yeah.
He's there to serve you, right? Anyway, it was interesting.
Why the limitation of not operating in public?
I don't know. That's what
Tripping
that's
on
what I
stuff,
heard.
they're worried about cables.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
safety stuff. There's fundamental safety on that.
I think it would be great to go and find it.
Better not plug in your cell phone.
They don't want the rest of the passengers to know that there's nutcases.
Right.
Yeah, it could be fitted. They just don't have a clue what it even is, so they don't want anything to do with it.
It's kind of funny. We were playing around with some different vertical antenna designs over here at Phoenix Park. And we set up a couple of rigs and we're playing around with those things. And every person that came by stopped and asked us what we were doing. There was a lot of interest. I was kind of surprised. You never know.
Guys set up their telescopes a lot of the time because it's got a good horizon. And there's always people wondering, oh, can I look? And I said, I thought you were going to say a lot of people get tangled up in the radio. That would be my experience.
With a vertical,
that
could be an issue, yeah.
Or you're just not talking about
Well,
that.
in this case, there were no radios. It was different.
Oh, you're like KFPK, it's full. full wave, vertical dipole.
Almost exactly.
Hmm.
There you go.
Wow.
That, by the way, that's a radio station. Yeah, well, in case you don't.
Yeah, it's just down the road. I can see it out my back window or kitchen window.
I bet you can.
Whatever Sarah said.
Where are they located?
Right next to
Pleasant Grove.
Really?
Their antenna is, they have 2-phased, full wave vertical dipoles.
Oh.
And what was the design of that? That was it Frederick? Franklin. It's a Franklin antenna system. And apparently that radio station has the highest signal level ground wave of any radio station in the country. So on 160, you know,
I listened to him in Nebraska when I was a kid.
I thought you could have done me through your fillings.
Almost.
Just about, yeah.
But tell us a little bit about what happened to your antenna. You said it fixed itself. Well,
Yes.
What was the problem there?
The problem is just I changed bands and all of a sudden I got, 8-to-1 reflected power and all the red lights and bells and whistles came on.
I know what happened.
Amp shut off.
Came
I
out.
know what happened.
What happened?
You have different antenna switches. You have 1, 2, and 3 probably. And when you change bands, you probably accidentally had hit, say, 2 instead of 1. And it got, you probably figured that out through the process. That happened to me. And I figured it out. And it was just that simple. The antenna tuner had 1, 2, and 3 switches.
Yeah, and it got to the.
And when I went from, 20 meters to 40 meters or vice versa, I had accidentally, I thought I was tuning my antenna one time and I pushed the wrong switch. And I was just like you, oh man, what happened? Oh, I gotta go out there.
Your
and
heart
deal with the
sinks
antenna.
down to your
Yeah, and then
belly.
would I blow the radio up or, all this craziness?
Go
And then,
checking for smoke.
and then I don't know, the next day or the next week, I went back to the radio and I noticed, oh, that LED light changed when I changed bands
Yeah, it
from
should
1 to
have.
2, and it's not supposed to do that. And that was my,
Let's check that
and it may
out, yeah.
very well be your
A
situation.
similar radio?
It was a K3, but I had the antenna tuner for the
Right.
the KPA 500. Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
KAT.
Or the KAT 500.
Same tuner. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So
what.
maybe, yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, that's most likely what it was, because you go from 1.1 or 1.2 to 1 to 8 to 1.
Yeah.
But then you go to another band and it's fine.
It wasn't though.
Oh.
So the only thing I can think of is it had gotten really, really cold, and I think the one of the sweeps got stuck in the antenna.
In the tube.
In the tube, because it was better when the antenna allows you to do, your normal and then 180 degrees out, and then it also does bi-level, which has both the antenna is basically a dipole, so it'll work, both directions. And the SWR on both directions was fairly good, so it may have been
Well, all you need is one of those propane torches. Climb the
right,
top.
and warm it up. Yeah. I'll hold the
Power
flash.
heat it up.
I'll hold the flashlight, or you just add power, right?
We'll get into
That's
that.
good,
Yeah. Big old lasers.
No, just
The laser
you
that
guys-
sucker.
you guys can all chip in for an amp.
There you go.
There was a ad on Craigslist a couple weeks ago under electronics for a stepper antenna. Did you see it? It was for I want to say it was like 6 to 20 meter stepper. Are you familiar with those?
Was it vertical?
Well,
No, it was like a mini version.
Mine is 6 to 40. It's a single
Yeah,
trombone.
but
It's
it
called
was-
the Urban Beam.
This wasn't, I don't think it was 6 to
Maybe it's
40.
one of the early ones or something.
Anyway, the guy wanted to trade for something. And
I'll
he said
give him
he
a
paid
Volkswagen Rabbit.
$3,000 or something. Does that sound right? For that stepper.
So mine cost a little over 2.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up and see if it's
That's a
still
lot
there.
of bucks.
But was there, were you saying there was an
That's
Atlas
the antenna that we
amplifier
have
with it as
right
well?
now.
Well, he had, according to the ad, I think it was everything that came with the antenna and the controller.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just, occasionally I'll go on, Craigslist isn't the best place to look for radio gear necessarily, because there's not a deep inventory, but sometimes you'll see some things on there. And I'll see if I can find it now, if it's still around. But I thought it was interesting
You have
because
to take it down off his tower.
I got the impression
The
from
rug,
the
yeah.
picture that it was down. I'm just gonna put here.
Yeah, it's like mine.
That's-
You're bad.
How do you spell stepper?
STEPPIR.
IR, okay.
By the way, is there any market where you can find a used hex beam? I imagine somebody had hex beam and it's
Yeah.
upgrade. Where do you find them?
Oh, a used hex beam?
Yeah.
Here's the stepper, here it is, Stepper Dream Beam 11. 3-element, 20 to 6 meter HF Yagi, 11-foot boom, 18.5-foot elements. Weighs 61 pounds.
Still out of antenna.
2 active elements on 20 meters, 3 on 17 to 6 meters. Current list price is $3,500. The antenna is in storage. Was working when taken down.
Famous last word.
I purchased it from the original owner.
Oh, we're two-way down.
And decided I did not want to use it. Bring your trailer in cash to take it away.
Ooh, cash.
But he'll take ham gear of equal value.
Plates.
Collins,
Well,
Elecraft,
what does he want?
$800.
Oh.
That's pretty cheap.
Ham gear of equal value, Collins, Elecraft KPA Zodiac boat, a Zodiac rib, Honda trail, Honda EU generator. So anyways,
He's got a laundry list there.
it's a, yeah, he's got it on a tower, but that's not included, but he's got the controller. So anyway, I looked at that ad and I thought right away at my hex beam, because we use that. for
There's
the
that
field
hex
day.
beam.
And that hex beam you can put, it weighs nothing hardly.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
And it works.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for one for my son down in Houston,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have anything
Mm-hmm.
to work with right now. But, the hex beam prices have gone up there too.
Yeah, just
You
hard.
can put one together,
Yeah.
but I figured if there is one that's working,
You know what?
somebody's upgrading.
If you just regularly check QTH and QRZ classifieds, you'll
There's a
find
40
it.
meter swap net.
Yeah.
That's what
that too.
What?
I haven't looked yet.
40 meter.
Oh, 40 meter swap.
Florida meter would work too.
Florida meter?
Craigslist is actually a good thing to check on. I got about a year and a half ago, my first Signal One on Craigslist in the ham radio section for $500, and which is a great deal. And then about 6 months later, I got a Mint ICOM 781 for $800, and it was Cooney W7JW's personal 781 up in Seattle, and short drive from the Portland area. But yeah, Craigslist is good to watch. You see some good deals there.
Well, just like eBay, you have to kind of filter. You never
Yeah.
know the quality.
Yeah.
I've used Craigslist a couple of times.
Yeah.
I sold an old metal lathe on Craigslist, and I bought a TIG welder, a Lincoln TIG welder off of Craigslist. And those are both two fine transactions. But again, you got to be careful.
Pretty selective.
Yeah, I've had some good luck on buying things on eBay way back, and never had a problem with it. I hear people having all kinds of trouble.
Well, yeah.
Depends on what you're looking for, Some items I think are more prone to be reliable or not.
Worked when I took it down.
Yeah, you have to, when you read those advertisements
Yeah.
and you read it not only the first time, because the first time it was like, oh, great, it's working. Then you read it again and you read it again, you say, wait a second. There's a lot of different paths this can take. It would still be a legitimate ad, but it could be an outcome that you don't want.
Yeah.
But eBay really does police that pretty well. If you're the buyer and you feel you've been screwed, they're gonna screw the seller. I mean, that's pretty much how that thing plays out.
The needle goes towards the buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the single biggest chunk of it is how well they package stuff.
Sure.
man,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
That's the real killer.
Yeah. And how many times it fell off the UPS truck?
UPS never breaks anything.
Just ask them.
Well,
I hate to tell you how many claims I had against UPS.
All right, so I got a UPS story.
that's always a story though, huh? They don't break anything.
So was it last summer or the summer before? I think it was a couple summers ago. As an amateur radio operator, emphasis amateur, I bought a Collins radio station from Florida. That's a long ways to ship that station. It was shipped, and I coordinated with the seller. We were very careful, and I laid out exactly how to do the boxing. I said, you got to do it this way. And I recommended.
Was the box made from 3/4 inch plywood?
Yeah, well, not quite, but I was. So anyways, to make a long story shorter, the seller ended up going a little bit different path than I had suggested with UPS, and went to a UPS store and had the UPS store do the packaging. And they used the conventional box. They didn't use the double ply boxing, number one. So it wasn't even rated properly for it. And it was shipped with all of the tubes in the radio, in the components.
In the
sockets. And so when I received the 5 packages, I opened each package and I noticed one box looked like it had been damaged. And sure enough, it was the amplifier, 30L, was it 30L?
30L1.
30L1. So it had a big dent in the corner of it, and the thing weighs, like, I don't know, 50 pounds
big
or
transformers
something.
in it.
Yeah, I mean, it weighs a ton. And I can't blame the workers for having to move this stuff around, but still, it was a poor shipping path to go with it. And so I ended up, it was insured, and so it took about a month of just constant, persistent focus with the UPS and the seller. And then I had to get it taken over to Peter's place. Peter's an SK now, but he was one of the Collins radio
repair station.
Yeah, Collins Restorations. And I don't remember his call. I think it was a K2 call. Anyways, he fixes it for virtually what it was insured for. And so I ended up getting it back with, no one would know from the outside with the condition of it necessarily. He actually went in and upgraded it and put new tubes in and all that stuff. But I learned a big lesson, especially on radios, equipment like that, anything heavy. Like if I sell it, I don't want to ship it. I want to sell it to somebody who I meet somewhere. I don't want to ship
somebody halfway from the Bay Area
or something, because just as a seller, I'd be frightened about getting it there.
Oh yeah,
where it needs to go. So
they really need to be double boxed. If they're well wrapped and packed and double boxed, usually they make it with FedEx or UPS or anything. I've had pretty good luck with the double boxings.
Yeah, I think the boxing is huge.
So is that a box and then padding and then a bigger box, or just one box inside of the other?
Both ways. It's good to have some padding around the inside box. Elecraft ships their stuff out, at least their KPA 1500 in 2 boxes, but it's with no padding between them, but it's double boxed.
But you're saying the lathe, but the lathe is metal, it's not, how fragile is it?
Well, if it falls over, those cast parts suddenly become multiple. Yes.
Yeah.
But isn't it customary to ship with the tubes outside of the radio or the component?
I had an S line that was shipped.
I think so, yeah.
The only thing that was bad was the power supply, because the power supply has the big transformer in it.
Yeah.
The chassis was
Oh,
good. But everything worked. And
the
it
lock
was a
belt
ham
tubes.
who packed it, and he knew what it was.
Yeah, he was more careful.
He did as good a job as possible.
Yeah.
I have an SB220, I don't know if anybody remembers what it
The old amp,
We have the 2 kW with a 3500Zs in there. And it's my son's in Houston, he's not gonna use it, so I wanted to bring it here. But that is one of those that has the only way to ship it would be to remove the tubes, remove the transformer, and ship it separately.
Put it back together.
Build a 3/4 inch plywood crate.
Crate weighs as much as a rig.
And it's not cheap.
No, it's.
It's a lot cheaper for him to be halfway and transfer from one car to
Yeah, I
another
like that idea.
and pay the gasoline in the hotel.
But when he comes home for Thanksgiving,
Bring the
It
rig.
doesn't happen. He's waiting for his invitation, hasn't arrived yet.
oh,
No, he's
My-
in Houston.
my-
I'm
my-
in Christmas. When we transferred everything to him, we did back in Colorado and transferred from one carload to another carload.
So is it warming up for everybody? Is everybody?
It's perfect.
Good.
what else?
Do we have a bug roundup report or anything?
Well, did everyone see us in QST for Field Day?
What the heck, really?
Really?
Yeah, the last issue.
Field day or bug roundup?
Oh, you mean the results?
Field day.
Yeah, the
Field day
results.
results.
Oh, the field day results
We're in there.
were published.
Really?
Whoa.
What, was that in December's?
The winter just came.
That's December.
That's part of it was December. I got it about a week ago.
How did that happen?
All the
Somebody must have done something. One of the officers must have made a report.
December.
That's the one.
Well, good job, President.
Well, he looks it up. I got info from two people, on, info roundup, bug roundup.
By
If you have more
contacts.
information,
Yeah.
logs or whatever,
Oh, we lost everybody on the computer.
oh,
We're here.
Yeah, you're there, but
it's just minimized.
we lost. We minimized you.
Oh.
Right.
You no longer exist.
Down and
Sorry.
to the right, the blue circle on the bottom,
No,
Blue circle.
right there.
right here.
Oh, that blue
TV's
circle.
not a touch screen.
There.
Really bad.
I'll look it
Thank
up.
you, Bob.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on.
So if you have information about your particular operation of the bug roundup, I'd love to, even if it's, take a picture of your notes with your phone and send them to me in an email. I'd love to put something together that, represents the activity that we had. I wasn't able to listen a whole lot. I was, watching Chat Tango. That was my primary participation.
It can be a full-time job.
Well, what? Sure. But my sense was the bands weren't very good. So, and not a lot of contacts were made. Does that corroborate with other people's experience?
It was in and out. I mean,
In and
one of
out.
my 2-hour sessions, so I worked the 4 to 6 a.m. both days. One day I had 2 contacts, the other was like 6 or 7.
Wow.
And I talked to people a lot, and mostly 80 and 40. But I was talking to the Midwest, Ohio, Virginia, all that kind of stuff. So I think it was up and down.
Yeah.
Was my 4-hour sample like this.
Yeah, the thing about it, it's not like a high number type radio contest. I had 10 contacts over, say, 8 hours on Saturday or something, but one contact was an hour rag chew, the other one was 45 minutes. So they're yeah.
Right.
So it's
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, it's a
Quantity,
lot of
not
fun.
quantity.
Right.
In other words, typical
It's in the
FTA
special
content.
event stations.
Now, I was imagining
And
people
QST.
sitting there for an entire hour
The bug
calling
roundup
CQ
was.
and going,
Special
oh,
That it was
events.
announced.
that must have been terrible.
Especially
Here and
there.
there, a little bit.
Or not,
Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Well, we did pretty good in the field day count here.
Did we?
Well, yeah, I'm surprised, actually. Yeah, we're, I'd have to count these here, but we're right in the top 20% for our division, top 25% for sure.
Well, up for court time.
Gotta play to win.
And we just operated, that one day?
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, we gave it up about, what, midnight? Something like that.
That's when we came out.
Pretty cool.
I think it was so hot, most people expired, so all the competition got.
The one thing about that I think
That was your
needs
text
some
feed too.
review. FT8 contacts count the same as CW contacts.
Then the
That's
issue is-
cheating.
I
really.
think that that's probably
Not
a little
exactly.
too generous.
For the FTA,
side.
I agree.
Like one quarter or something like that.
Plus, you don't
Yeah.
make a contact, your computer makes a contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even,
Yeah, what's the skill level involved again?
well,
They need-
I
they
think
need to
a
put
certain
some
skill.
law.
there's a skill level to get it set up.
Yeah.
You gotta admit that.
But you do it once.
You know, you wonder why ARRL has it set up that way. They must be thinking that if people can easily do well using this digital mode, maybe they should promote it to get more action. I don't.
I talked to the president of ARRL and asked him why there isn't an asterisk on the awards and things like that for people that do it in FTA. He got all huffy, he answered this before, I guess, and said that, well, you know, that over half of the contacts that are made on HF are
FTA.
done with FTA.
Yeah. There's a perfect
And he said, you know, when you get into a RIDI contest, all you're doing is pushing F1 and F4 and F1 and F4 and sending your canned message back and forth. So what's the difference? And I said, well, with RIDI, you can say, help, the Titanic is sinking.
With FTA, it's nothing.
FTA, you go, hi, I'm on the Titanic. And the other guy goes, oh, okay, that's nice, I'm in Roseville. Okay.
You know, I hate to say this, but in the eyes of the world, we, especially CW guys, are obsolete.
Oh yeah, we're dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I'm
Unless you're
proud of being.
Well, it's a membership thing.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, ARRL operates, how many people subscribe. If FTA is in, that's who you cater to.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like legislation or anything else, you know, dollars
Popular
down.
vote.
Well, I think you have the right tact though. It is a matter of survival of the hobby. And that's what ARRL's focus is generally, so that the hobby shall survive. And if the influx of new hands are the young computer savvy people and they like FT8, then
That's where they're going.
it's FT8.
Handy scratchies.
And you know, the one thing about this hobby that I think is marvelous is there's a million ways to be a ham radio guy.
That's
You can do the TV.
more true than
thing,
ever,
you can
yeah.
do the CW thing, you can do the 2-meter thing, you can moon bounce. I mean, there's a, do we moonwalk?
only Michael
Yeah,
Jackson
Michael
does.
Jackson.
Only Michael.
He
But I mean,
Oh, yeah,
that is a really neat characteristic of
diverse,
this
yeah.
hobby. There's a lot of different ways you can go
And
and enjoy it.
it's so easy to build things that we never dreamed of in the
Oh my
sixties,
God. It's,
you know.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You want some numbers? Are we-
Yeah, treasury
Oh, yeah,
report, yeah.
treasury.
That would be nice to hear.
I do have a convo topic then, but we can do it after the
Okay,
treasurer's report.
all right, let's hear the official numbers.
Number.
Yeah,
Well, I'm a little behind the 8 ball simply because we're still in the mode of gathering numbers, but as it currently stands, we've got right at $8,000 in the bank. And sitting in our PayPal account, we have 7 people who have renewed for 2023 at $20. And then, John, you're gonna have to help me. We've got one payment here of $30 from Samuel F. Morris Amateur Radio Club. You
okay,
transfer some money, that's kind of.
at the beginning, yes, because,
Okay, so that's not it, yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, well, that was from the old, there was the old PayPal account
Right,
that was in Mike's name, and I was gonna try to get the name changed. And I decided that they're gonna start asking for too many details I didn't wanna talk about.
no,
So we
that's
just
fine,
did another
I
one,
figured
so-
it would, something like that.
Okay, so let me finish. So I opened up the PayPal account. Okay, so to link it to the bank account, they had to shuffle a few pennies back and forth, is what they do to establish the path. So that's why I put the $30 in there.
I'm
And
just
then
trying to get.
last night, it was just last night, I dumped all the PayPal into the bank. But it takes 3 days, they say, you know.
Yeah, it'll show up.
Unless you wanna pay extra, unless you wanna pay for it, you can do it one day, but what's the difference?
They actually transferred a lot faster than they say.
Yeah,
So
that's in limbo there, they may or may not show up yet on the bank account, but it's there, it's on the way. And then there will be some more from the old PayPal account when we, right now the Zoom account is coming out of the old one. And then starting January, we're gonna do it once a year out of the bank account. So then whatever's left in the old PayPal account, I'll transfer to the bank account if possible. If I can't do that, I'll transfer it to the PayPal account, which there's a fee for, but there's not when you transfer it to the bank. So I'll try to transfer it to the bank.
you know, you don't have to close that old PayPal account. You don't have to. I mean, we've got some time to deal with that. There may be some historical information that you might want to retrieve from that.
Yeah.
So, you know, we can wait a couple of months before we close that account.
It's not a bad.
I took a look at our website. This is, you know, on our website, we've got a listing of our membership. And if you count all those names, it comes up to 72. 72 members.
It hasn't been updated lately, but.
Well, let me give you some more information here. Then I went through last year's PayPal payment roster that you sent me. And I came up with a total of 34 people paid dues in 2022 by PayPal. Out of 72, 22
Right.
is what I have. Now, that doesn't mean we didn't get some in cash, and I'm sure we did.
Right.
I just don't know
I was
what
one
that
of them,
number.
and I'm gonna be another one.
Alrighty.
Well,
But at a certain point.
And there's the
last year-
witnesses.
Right.
It's being
my
recorded, so
pay-
you're covered.
At a certain
No
point
service
last year,
charge.
didn't we discourage membership, paying membership renewal because the whole bank account business was in limbo and.
I don't know. Typically, it's paid
It was a
very
mess.
early in the year.
Yes.
But, and at this point, we have 20 people, or I'm sorry, 7 people who paid 2023. So I got a little bit more digging going on. The bottom line is, we don't know how many members we had in 2022.
Don't forget to write the call letters on the money, right?
Well,
Tradition, yeah.
actually,
That's the way John does it.
that's where I was headed. And you know, this is a problem for all clubs. The beauty of PayPal is you don't have to go to the bank.
But we lose money when you, in the transaction.
But yeah,
Buck and a half.
again,
So the net is $1.50 less, is that how it is?
well, that's disputable. We aren't quite certain.
Well, that's what it's been so far, put it that way. Well, you have it on the paper there.
I'm sorry?
You have it on the paper, they show of the $20, how much you actually got. And
Right.
it's $1.80 or something.
If you put my call on there, are they gonna contact me for defacing federal
Yes, they will.
property?
Yeah, just so, yeah.
Just when you thought you were gonna live a nice retirement.
Somebody's gonna Google that.
All right, yeah.
So are you gonna make a
Money.
deposit on that? Cause I got some other cash to make a deposit with too.
Oh,
But I've been waiting it. And a few checks.
so,
Money changed hands 3 times already.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
They didn't take a service fee yet.
Sure. So in any event, we're kind of sorting things out.
Yes.
Trying to get to the bottom of it.
That's a fair statement.
But I don't think we've got 72 paid members.
No.
No.
Yeah,
No.
yep, we've got a lot of,
Whoever's doing the webpage can put them in red.
But then, you know, for the better part of a year, we didn't have a way for people to do it on PayPal, and we were pretty vague about, you know.
Well,
So
again,
that's kind of expected.
ideally,
It was a mess.
they've all would have been paid for 2022.
In December, ideally, yeah, you're right.
So you'd think the majority of them would have paid.
Yeah.
And that's why I said when we get to looking at the numbers, it's.
But there was a lot of confusion there in the first couple of months. And, you know, anyway.
I don't have a PayPal account. my wife doesn't allow me to.
Well, you don't have to. You can still
That's
do
why I
it.
gave you- that's why I
That's
gave you
fine.
$2
But you can do it with a credit card on PayPal is what it is. It's through PayPal, but you don't have to have a PayPal account. You can use a credit card or debit card.
I got a $5 limit on my
But-
credit card.
Okay. What you did is
That
fine.
much, huh?
We're not
It
gonna,
is so bad.
we never complain about, being paid in cash. At least I don't.
No.
Gotta make a trip
it's
to the
no
bank,
big
a big deal.
I'll tell you one thing about banks though, when we had our meetings, we'd bring in cookies and all kinds of stuff, and the idea was, if you came up to grab something from the snack table, throw a buck in the kitty, right? And so, I'd end up with 16 quarters and 5 nickels and 27 pennies, all that stuff. So I'd go down to the bank and give them the money. They would not take the coinage unless they were full rolls.
Oh, no.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually have the sorting machine there, point over there. Put all your change in.
Not my day.
But you're still not gonna roll it up.
Yeah, you don't
I
have-
thought it was illegal to refuse cash, but I've seen that happen in several places.
A lot of things changed in the last few years, yeah. But yeah,
Money's no good.
it used to be go into any bank and get, a roll of quarters if you give them, what is it?
$10.
$10, they give you a roll of, they don't want to do that anymore. You have an account here? I'm just
Yeah,
giving you
that's the
cash
thing,
for
yeah.
quarters,
Well,
Used to
don't
be
do
just a
this, I'll never
courtesy
be a
thing,
member
but-
here, and they change their mind.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's crazy. But anyway, who wants coffee?
Yeah.
Go ahead, oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, so,
I'm gonna start the
don't
coffee.
you feel good about being ignored?
I'm
good.
You're not
I thought we
ignored.
could talk about it after the coffee.
It's just money talks and you wanted to talk money, so.
Well, working on the bug roundup sort of piqued my interest in bugs.
Yeah.
But
Oh, good.
online, I just am not finding a lot of information other than I have a document that shows the history of Vibraplex, and everything seems to be Vibraplex. But I know that there are more bugs in the world than just were made by Vibraplex. And I don't have a sense of, so what are the values? What are the rare ones?
Now you've started a conversation.
Kind of like collecting cars,
You know, you
so
got a few experts in this club.
I know, I thought this would be a great place to ask the question. So, other than simply having a lot of personal history and been doing this for a long time, how did you educate yourself? How did you, if you wanted to, if you saw a bug, you looked at it and said, oh, that looks nice, how would you figure out what the value of that bug would be?
What somebody's willing to pay for it.
Well, that
What it says
No.
on that little tag that's on the bug, right?
That's, I don't put values on all of mine.
It's worth whatever
I
somebody will pay for it.
I'll stop blabbing, but I'm curious as to what are the resources that are out there to learn more about bugs.
I have a hardback book
You do?
on T.R. McElroy, all of his bugs. A very rare book. I will bring that to the next meeting. I have a number of McElroys. But yeah, that was quite a find getting that. And yeah, I'll bring that.
Steve, what's your say on this one?
Well, it's interesting. I think as some of the CW people are dying off and there's less numbers of us, the values are probably going down. And because I've been collecting them for a while with my 45 bugs now, and much with a lot more than just Vibraplex, the whole gamut of McElroy and all the SpeedX lines, 3 different versions or 4 different versions of SpeedX, but lots of Vibraplexes and everything else. But I do notice the prices are going down. But what's amazing, and I've got a lot of them I bought a lot of them on eBay. And I've got some wonderful deals, great bugs, great condition, good prices, and everything else. and eBay seems to go in waves.
Yeah.
Like right now, I looked yesterday, I think, at all the bugs on eBay, and boy, there's some of the ugliest crap on there. You know, I just, you know, they belong in the garbage can, and they want $300 for them. You know,
Yes.
so it's a funny deal, but it's sort of like that antique roadshow where they show bugs that were. Or they show items that were sold 15 years ago for, you know, worth $40,000 for a little vase or a little vase or something like that.
Yeah.
And today it's worth half that, just because that's what somebody will pay for it. So I think it's just the fact that more of the old timers are going up to that great ham station in the sky.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like 65 Mustangs. There's less and less people that care.
Right.
We're all dying off. You know, my age are the people that would be interested, and they're dying off. So
yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, in some ways it's pretty neat though, because some of the stuff is a lot less priced than it used to be.
Hey, Steve, I got a mint one here for you.
What's that?
It's mint. It's a cherry shape.
Oh, there you go. Hey. Oh, I see, Rob. It looks nice, Rob.
You can do it left or right-handed.
I'll be darned.
It's got the holes for both.
What is it? That's a.
Yeah. There's probably $100.
You want to pollute it, come and pollute it yourself.
There's probably 100 years worth of parts on this thing.
Right.
Look at that.
That's right. And they used to put those holes in them too. Some of those holes just to screw them down to the desk.
Well, it was a real viperplex, but somebody had converted this to a left-hand bug.
I'll be darned.
And so I bought it for parts, but I ended up putting it back together.
Oh,
and,
do you? You really are.
Quite a while back. That's his left-handed bug. His left-handed bug is in better shape than this one is, but I was kind of surprised. I just bought it for $20 for parts, but it still works.
Yeah.
So was this eBay or Craigslist or?
I got this at a swap meet actually about 5 years ago, and you know, I mean, there's parts on it, but this whole assembly here is parts. The rod is flat on top.
I think they licensed them.
I've never seen one like that.
Yeah, but
they had a Pinto motor in it.
Hey, while you've got the camera pointed on your bugs there, could you show us, didn't it, in Chat Tango, it said you were using a dual lever bug?
Yeah, hang on, I'll get that.
Okay.
That takes a certain amount of coordination.
But bugs are the same way. You know, eBay, QT. It's just a lot of good ones available, and sometimes the prices just amaze me. I was able to get my 1905 Horace G. Martin Vibraplex mint condition for $300 on QTH.com. It's
And we went to the old downtown plant and built the Model A. Pretty impressive.
Boy, that's a beauty, Rob.
I'll tell you, I about had a heart attack when I turned the corner and I saw that thing.
Got it. Looks like brand new.
Yeah,
So how does that work?
I had gotten it from an antique store up in Idaho. I turned the corner and I swear I about had a heart attack when I spotted this thing on the shelf. And
understandable.
I just couldn't. It's the first one I have ever seen, Steve.
Yeah.
The very first one I have ever seen in person.
Just beautiful.
I went and got the guy and he opened up the case, reached in and gave it to me, and he wanted to know what it was.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And then I just saw the receipt a couple of weeks ago. I paid $100 for it. Steve.
Oh, amazing! Just amazing.
You know, and then on the way out the door, my wife said, "Oh, there's
Are you
one over
married?
there,"
I am.
and they're mint
Somebody.
condition 55 original deluxe with the case for $60.
It's fine.
And so, yeah, I got them through TSA too. I flew down with them. You
Oh,
know,
I'll be darned.
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
But I got them through TSA. They
Yeah.
said, well, as long as they can't be used as weapons.
You hit somebody over the head with one pretty good.
That's right.
Well,
What's
well,
that?
Yeah.
A big one. When?
This weekend.
yeah, the double lever is the same size
Somebody over the head. Did you read the paper?
as the
Over off of,
Oh, look at that.
Zinfandel? Right in the
3.5-inch base, right?
yeah, it fits in a normal carrier.
On Wednesday.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's in really good shape. It's from 1924.
Right. Yeah, it's got the newer plate.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, when I first got it, I posted the I posted the pictures online, and a lot of guys thought it was a fake.
I'll be darned.
A lot of people said, no, that's got to be a fake because they were never made with those labels.
Right.
And you know, as far as I know, they stopped making them about 1926, which means they would have been made with that label.
Right.
So,
right. You know, I've got a this is a 1922 blue racer, number 4, on a 3-inch base. You know, it's not the
okay.
yeah, and you know, it's just beautiful. It's in person, it's just that it's kind of low slung, and it's got the little bit wider base, you know, than the 2.5-inch base. And they made these with 3 different bases, 2.5, 3, and 3.5. I don't know why somebody wanted a blue racer with a wide base, but it's beautiful.
Did you see the one on eBay that's got the narrow base, the real thin base?
Yes.
Somebody put on a bigger, very interesting key. Well, too much money, but I mean, very interesting key.
It was that was a very early. It was I think it was a Norcross bug that had been put on. Yeah, I saw that. Forget what it went for.
What's out there, John?
Yep.
Me? No, we're KE0ZW.
You're running
Unmute.
Is
We
he
need to
on
unmute.
Sounds really familiar.
National Semi.
Or do I need to do that?
Engineer guy,
Sounds really familiar.
little short guy, big beard.
Okay.
No,
There you go.
It sounds familiar, but.
Oh, beautiful.
Too great.
that was $200 on eBay 2 years ago.
Oh,
So you put a blue box. That's a blue box.
well, what, oh, let me
That's a
see
nice
here.
bug.
A presentation?
Oh yeah, nice, beautiful
Presentation.
presentation.
Serial number puts it in 1961. And yeah, I got it with a case.
Well, that's
And,
worth $50.
Wow. Totally on the right.
I've got the
This is a bad thing.
You think?
original.
Paperwork.
Oh, nice.
And I got a parts list and price list that came with it. So the contact screws $1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Outrageous.
The number 140 red for the DAWs. Round one is 40. I don't know.
So, about a year ago, I bought a
85 cents.
Vibroplex Deluxe, I believe it was, from an estate. And they packed it in bubble wrap and put it in a box. But the part of the plastic lever broke in half during shipment. So, how would you recommend shipping a bug so that doesn't happen again, or ask them to take that part off?
That's common.
They do easily come off, yeah, the paddles, but I've had many of them shipped with it on, and if they're wrapped in the bubble wrap and padded well, I haven't had any problems with it. But
yeah, a lot of people take the lever off completely off the bug and ship it wrapped up separately.
Here's a Knoxville. This is a 2015. I've got I think 5 presentations, and they're wonderful. They're going back to 1949 and all through the years. But this is a 2015 Knoxville presentation, and it's the brass, the plate is shinier than the earlier ones. I don't know whether it shows up very well on this, but this is from Knoxville, and it works beautiful. It doesn't have the LaHif mainspring on it, but it's beautiful. I mean, it's an original, gold-plated original.
Hey, Steve, this is my early Horace Martin.
Mm-hmm.
That's within a handful of serial numbers of yours.
Right. Yeah.
The
and
last patent date on mine is 1907.
Right.
And the ones that are from 1912 have a 1912 date on it.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't have that.
So this one here would be like probably an 07, do you think?
Well, the number, you told me the number that you have, this is 2173.
Right.
Name of the people.
Yeah, mine is 1344, and it's a 4-line. I don't.
Okay.
This camera isn't very good, but it's a 4-line.
Right.
And that, and then they got a name for the plates and stuff like that. But
didn't you have one that was in the 20,000s like this one was?
I do. Yep, I got a 20. Oh, what number is your? Oh, yours is 20,000. Yeah, I've got. I do have one, and it's like let me see here. Let me see. I got it right.
So there's
Change the channel.
two separate.
Yeah, this is a 20,000.
That's beautiful though.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
They're changing and doing things.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the same plate as yours, but I'd like to get those nickel plated. The nickel is beautiful.
What the QSO party is?
In January, I'll find out.
Yeah, well, what happened with this
North
bug,
America, right?
an old friend of mine invited me to an estate sale that had been, it was loaded with ham radio gear, but it had never been advertised.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't advertised correctly, so there was no hams there to buy the gear.
Right.
So when we met the real estate agent, we walked back into the room where the guy had his station, and he had died probably, I'm saying 15, 20 years earlier, and his wife had just closed the door. And there were still cigars in the ashtray
and coffee in the pot.
Oh, the dust was horrible. The dust was terrible.
Yeah.
But I had told Tom, who had collected bugs too,
Smoke filled room.
I wouldn't bid against him on I had enough bugs, right?
Right.
So what he got was this bug and a chrome plated first year blue racer. And
Nickel plated.
Nickel plated.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other bugs. And I said, I'm never going to do that again. But I ended up getting this one from him,
oh, that's great.
But it's
beautiful. That nickel plating.
I think these keys must have sat in drawers for decades.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they're so clean.
It's true.
It's just stunning to find them in this kind of condition.
Yeah, when they've been in a case or a box or something like that, it's almost like opening a brand new key up.
Right.
It's incredible.
Right. Well, I found some of my best keys in antique stores.
Yeah.
Oh, antique stores.
Antique stores.
And they don't know what they are. They just know they came with the estate, or they got. And the prices were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some of the best prices I've ever heard.
Oh, I couldn't believe I got this double lever. You know, all he had to do was Google Viperplex and he'd be able to see what they're worth.
Yeah.
Or, you know, what they're, you know, but that place went out of business a couple of years ago. So,
I wonder why.
There's a reason for that.
yeah. So, but yeah, I was really surprised. They used to have a huge one here over in, I guess out toward Rancho Cordova. And I would find bugs in there, but they were pretty high priced. So I didn't buy any. But that place is gone too. So, you know, the antique store business isn't what it used to be. So,
Right.
but yeah, Bob, I'll send some pictures over.
Oh,
So
great.
you can, yeah, I'll send some pictures over of the bugs that I used. Because a lot of people wanted a picture of this double lever, and so I've sent them out. But yeah, I'll send those over, and I'll send my list of contacts and whatnot, and write up a few comments for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Say, John, who's the email that we send the bug roundup log to? Is that David's email?
You can send it to David, or you can send it to me, which is Bob
Right.
at BobKehr, BobKehr.net.
Okay, great. Bob at BobKehr.net.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, Steve, Chris's Blue Racer is a 1923 model, but it's on a narrow base.
Yeah.
But it does have the cloverleaf frame. And so does this double lever. A lot of the double levers just have the U-shaped frame.
Right.
But this has the cloverleaf frame.
Right, like this Blue Racer here, the clover leaf is what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And they did that when they had a big piece of metal and they drilled 4 big holes in it and then cut the remaining metal out, and that's how they got that clover leaf.
I'll be darned.
So yeah, I've seen it done when I worked at the Army Depot. A lot of the machinists had made stuff, and to make U-shaped dampers or something like this, what they did is they just drilled it out and then cut it out, and it's and I said, boy, that looks just like a telegraph key I have.
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about, how they did that. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you can see if you look at the 4 holes, and then they just cut the center out.
Yeah, that's right.
You can still see the marks where they cut it. So
that's right. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Next topic.
Next topic.
Yeah.
Next topic is
Sent you that.
North American QSO Party, which is gonna be at Bob's house.
I'll send you the. Tell me what they. Oh, okay.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I think
I talked to him first.
What is it that's gonna
I
be
would
at
do
Bob's
that.
house?
Huh?
What's gonna be at Bob's house? That Bob?
Yeah, that Bob. North American QSO Party. Similar to the California QSO Party, but North America.
When is it again?
What's that?
Date?
Yeah,
You said January 14th. And
second Saturday.
Yeah, and so last year we used that event, I think, to have
As a
our
club
club,
meeting.
January meeting,
Yeah.
so that we didn't have to do a first of the Thursday of January meeting here. So is that what we're gonna do?
That works for me.
Yeah, I kinda get tired of you guys anyways.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but did we do a Zoom portion of that?
No.
or-
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
You had to be there.
You had to be there?
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I don't know.
My internet connection's not that fast.
It's not that good.
Okay.
That's the one we do ribeyes and.
Yeah.
Cabernet.
That's why Phil gave us the
Wow.
treasurer's report, right? You're bringing the wine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need money, John's got the checkbook.
Okay.
I'll bring Kashuba Cabernet.
So,
But Phil's watching me. And then that's as it should be. have somebody else watching.
And then
Check and balance.
2 weeks after that is Winter Field Day, and if people would be interested in dropping by Dutch Flat, I will be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now,
There
that's
might
quite
be
an
a lot of
invitation.
snow up there if these storms.
Well, they
keep
got some
kicking in.
snow tonight.
Well, they're gonna
You got
get
a
more.
cabin up there, or are you gonna have a tent, or what?
There's a cabin. Cabin.
So what's the altitude?
Dutch Flat. I should know. 30. It's not all that high.
Not a real good chance of being snowed in, but
It's
This year,
snowed
pretty
in
good snow back
maybe every third year. There's a little bit of snow, but
oh,
there's snow up there now. From this storm.
I guess roads right now are a real mess.
Right now.
80 was closed. for a
Yeah,
while.
they got 80 closed. Several years ago, Deb and I took a Valentine's Day train excursion trip up to Truckee. And that year, they had a horrendous snowstorm. 80 was closed for like 3 days.
that's the time to take a train ride, yeah.
So we get into town, and my buddy and I are gonna go skiing. Lo and behold, Squaw had a shuttle. They came down, they picked us up, we got in that thing. I don't think there were 20 of us on the mountain. And
Wow.
every time you fall down, the snow was so deep, you get buried in the snow.
Yeah.
You could suffocate.
Wow.
And so we got through the day, we got back, had a nice dinner that night, and everywhere you went, the snow was clear up to your nose.
Oh, wow.
So we go to come home, the train is 12 hours late.
Yeah, it's not too bad with those things, yeah.
We finally get on the train and we get going, and of course it's late, nobody's had anything to eat, and so they're gonna feed us. They had spaghetti.
Just when he thought he couldn't get hungry.
What kind of wine goes with that? You know?
Anything you could find.
Cheap Italian.
That was unbelievable.
Good story.
And in downtown Truckee, there's an old hotel that they claim is haunted. And that's where we stayed, in that haunted hotel. We never did find the ghost.
Wow.
They charge extra for the ghost rooms?
I don't know. I don't remember. And it was all part of the trip package.
Right.
Ghost included?
Yes, ghost included, yeah.
So on the QSO party, is it just Saturday? It's
Yeah,
just a
it's-
1-day event?
12
hours.
Oh,
10
12
10.
hour.
Yeah.
10 to 10?
So I guess we can record it and put it on YouTube. Just won't be live.
Unless we figured out how to do it.
Well, he says you don't have to go to,
It's a contract.
Oh,
you don't
yeah,
have good
the
internet there
What
anyway.
if you have
USO
anything with a
party. So it's a
hotspot?
24-hour party.
Well, yeah, that would be an option, wouldn't it? Like what do they call those things?
Hotspots.
Hotspots. Of course, that's a lot of bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
do.
it's like
I don't know how,
Probably wouldn't work a hotspot.
I don't know. Would it? Would it work on a hotspot?
It can be challenging.
It's just not fast
Have
enough.
crummy
That's a good way of saying no.
Don't bring an AT&T phone.
And don't bring AT&T, that's what I have.
I was gonna say, I have an
Well, this is
AT&T
AT&T
hotspot.
fiber and it's 600, but
It's gotten better.
that's not, that's not a cell phone.
All right, so that's,
Okay, so we're gonna
So
do,
as a ham club, we're having problem communicating.
right, exactly.
yeah. You think that's bad? I used to work for a communications company and nobody communicated at all. So that's even worse.
It's got a lot to do with attitude, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. So next month, in lieu of this meeting, we're gonna do it all at the QSO party, which will be at Bob's house. And I'll email everybody on that. So I think
They
everybody's,
have a two-piece band out there.
yeah, at least. If you go to the casino,
No, in-house entertainment.
So are you gonna take attendance or take a survey of who's gonna come when on email?
who's gonna come when?
Yeah,
So
to
the QSO party.
Usually people show up when they show up.
Okay.
Sometimes they show up around mealtime.
We could ask, but it probably won't be an accurate count anyway.
That's true.
It's out there by,
Thunder Valley, past Thunder Valley.
is that the one, Thunder Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Out past Roseville. Okay, so that settles that. So we'll go ahead and record it, but it'll be on
Tape delay.
tape delay.
Party action.
Tape delay.
Mhm.
Tape.
That works.
Yeah, you can watch it the next day.
We do show and tell?
Absolutely.
All right, so I got this box here. Speaking of eBay.
Mystery box.
All right, so I got this box. I just tonight, I haven't opened it, I just took the seal off. I bought this item on eBay and it's something to do with CW. But I don't remember what it is. And I bid, the starting bid, it was $20. And I thought, it was kind of a flyer deal. So because I don't do a lot of bidding on eBay and I was kind of a little bit apprehensive. So I figured for $20, see what happens. Anyway, I got this item, so let's open it and see what's in here.
So nobody knew what it was.
No, it was advertised as a regular item, and I just don't remember.
Okay,
what
so
it
we're
is.
just talking brain.
We're just,
So this is new to you as well?
it's new to me as well.
Surprise for everybody.
Okay, it says, okay, well, this is the item. I'll show you in a moment, but here's the packing slip, eBay packing slip. It says Stone Mountain Engineering Morris Master 2 Morris Trainer.
Yeah, it's probably a code practice oscillator.
So let's see.
Probably, yeah.
So let's see. It looked like it was a really big item with a lot of electrical components.
Yeah.
So I figured, $20 you could buy electrical components that had to do with Morse code.
The tension mounts.
Lantern battery.
$20 worth of newspaper.
Well, this is how it's packaged. It's got some plastic, just real. It's an interesting bubble wrap. There's no air in it.
Glass bubble wrap.
That's extra.
Budget.
That's another $5.
That's what you get for $20.
All right. So the guy says, "Oh man, I got just a starting bid on this thing." So here's what it is. Got some bubble wrap on the bottom, but still it's deflated. All right, so Rob, I think you're right. It's got a little.
Yep.
Got a couple little plugs here.
Got a speaker.
It's got a
Got
speaker.
some dials.
Yeah, got speaker. And let's see here. Got a switch.
You're pretty selective, aren't you?
And wired.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Look at this here. Got a couple pots.
If you ever need $20, advertise to him.
Have I got a deal for you?
Good for it, huh?
And it's got a sticker. I don't know what this means. STD, it says. It means don't touch it.
I washed my hands after that.
What is that?
Oh, mercy.
It's labeled that. I have no idea what that is. So I don't know what to do with it, guys.
I think you need to call the health department first.
Right.
Well, Stone Mountain made a lot of small electrical parts, and
That's a heck of a lot of circuitry for a
How do you
code
power
oscillator.
it?
Well, that's what I thought when I looked at this thing. I thought this is amazing.
Look at that. Yeah.
Show them a close-up on the camera.
Oh, I am sorry.
Yeah, that's.
okay.
So are you
Yeah, it,
connect a 9-volt battery someplace?
I don't know.
Or
I have no idea.
wow, pretty nice.
Definitely worth $20.
Yeah.
What did you say? Components. So you weren't
Gotta
$20?
be positive.
Check this thing
I
out.
mean, it's got look at the plugs. Those are good plugs.
$3 each.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Phil, can you figure this out?
That's a lot of
There.
circuitry for just.
There's stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Code crack.
It must be a code generator or reader or something.
I just thought, I was thinking too.
I think it's
I don't
I think
know.
it's a keyer, and you could probably use it as a memory keyer or something.
Is that some memory chips in there?
I thought it was pretty cool. Stone Mountain Engineering, that sounds pretty
Yeah.
rich, you know?
Maybe this is
Yeah.
speed, and you use your paddles with it. I don't know.
Yep. Mhm.
Here?
Now, think about the value
What
of
do you
this,
think,
right?
Dennis?
You have $20, what do? You buy one of those? Or you pay
Yeah.
It's got a processor.
Oh, there you go.
Stop charge.
Yeah,
Seems like a bit overkill to me.
came out of Ohio.
Yeah.
Whoever had it was in Ohio.
Must be a keyer.
Yeah, it's,
Got it for $1 a date and sold it to you for 20.
That's a good return for that guy.
It is.
But he had to
Not
ship
gonna
it.
say anything else.
well,
Yeah,
I'm,
to
su-
ship
I'm
it.
sure you're,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna be able to find something on the internet about it,
I'm gonna build a case for it.
yeah.
I love
Yeah, I'll-
Yeah, it probably is
I-
paddle.
yeah,
I'm willing to
I've
bet
had a
it's
jam
some
band
kind of a memory cue or some kind.
I get the keyer.
600,000, try them, try them.
I don't see where you
Before the war band.
deliver power to.
I think this should be attached to our bogus storage.
Yeah.
Trying
to figure
Attach it to the bogus storage. There you go.
As a
Well,
report.
Yes.
After you work the world with it, yeah. Then
You gotta work the world with it.
Then you could build up a bogus story on that.
Yeah,
Probably
probably their audio or,
Right.
You could mount it in the
I don't
hand
know, you know
can for the,
For the bogus story?
yeah.
Yeah. Round it in the
or
hand
AC
with
input,
the
the
hand.
fixed power. AC input?
You're right.
I bought a house, I made sure there was no HOA.
Yeah, it didn't come with any
Now the
instructions.
question is how.
You'll be able to
So
find
what's the
something.
voltage that will make sure the smoke stays?
Which all he said was it was a CW item, huh?
He has
So
a.
you'll be able to find,
No
you'll
wild
be able to find
flames.
Find a
something
manual.
on it online, I'm sure, yeah.
You think
Well,
so?
my trees have grown a whole bunch. I used to have 2 element 40 meter speed
Yeah.
and a KG 34 XL.
Good point.
Show it to Mike. Something small there. Things are not that.
I am very pleased.
Yeah. You bought it how long ago?
What, 2.5?
So are we gonna use the K4 for this, January event?
Why not?
Oh.
You gotta use it.
But you got the K3 backup in case it doesn't work, so.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Yeah.
He says he hasn't tried it yet, so.
Well, it sounds like we should meet earlier than 10 o'clock to get everything dialed in.
That's true, huh?
What's that? This is a memory keyer,
I think so.
because it says reset, start, and repeat.
Yeah.
And this may be speed.
That's kind of what I was thinking. That's your speed setting. Boy, there's a lot of stuff there. Look on that big chip. I couldn't tell because it didn't.
Yeah, we'll see how
Does it
early,
say Z80 on it?
how early that, he watches
I
there.
bet it does.
That's basic to the
It
seven.
says
I
Intel
hope at least
77 on it.
Yeah,
Intel chips on there? That's worth 20 bucks.
yeah, there you go.
Intel inside.
You could sell that tomorrow for 50.
It's 8107, what do you think?
An 8107 Intel chip.
Just tell them it's an antique.
It's an 8-bit microcontroller. Boy, that's a lot of stuff for some purpose.
Might be able to use it on FT8.
Well, now you have one.
Yes, and I'm gonna put that proudly on my bench.
You know,
To collect dust.
it would make a very nice topping for your birthday cake.
You know what I like about this? I can recognize the components.
There you go.
That's what capacitors and resistors are supposed to look like.
I have one I got from Rob with tubes in it.
You know,
That ICO.
That here I got from you, Rob?
Yep, that ICO, yeah.
that surface mount stuff, you can't tell what anything is.
Yeah.
I still think one of the most magic machines that I've ever seen is the pick and place machine.
Yeah, that ICO keyer is bigger than most rigs.
Yeah.
Those are absolutely amazing.
I remember auditing companies where the many pick and place, both sides, just populating. and it's moving, and then it just went into the waste solver because they were through, not.
Oh, they're through hole.
Yeah, they're through hole. And then, of course, later years, it became the.
Picking place, they just go through a hot air stream.
Yep.
Come out the other end.
Always amazed that the semiconductors survive the heat.
Yeah.
Apparently they haven't figured out.
How they do what?
Well, you put the whole thing in an oven, and it somehow the semiconductors
The
survive.
solder is actually paste.
Yeah.
And so when you put it in a hot air environment, the paste turns to molten solder. I saw this. Turns to molten solder. And believe it or not, the instant that solder becomes molten, the parts reposition themselves due to surface tension. They center themselves in pads.
So you gotta have everything right the first time.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Steve, you had something for show and tell, don't you?
I do. It's nothing too earth shaking. Maybe I ought to get, I'll just, let me get one thing here and then I'll show you a couple of things, okay?
Okay.
Be right back.
I bet you that thing runs on a 9-volt battery or something.
Onboard AD processor, maybe I'll try to.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I would hook it up and
Onboard too.
start touching things together until you hear tones.
Yeah, but it's gotta have a power
Probably, I think.
source.
Yeah, somewhere.
Probably.
So,
What's that cord hanging off of it?
Have
That's,
you worked with those?
this is a switch.
I'm not. It's on.
This is a switch, and that's what these are. These are connected to maybe a power supply.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
How's that? This goes into a power supply, and then this is your switch.
oh, is there one, 3-prong one for a paddle?
I know this is out of topic here, but has anybody?
Well, you've got an input. Oh, here's the AC. It's got AC input.
One of the gentlemen aboard ship,
Oh, really?
he had.
Yeah.
Hotspot and.
Well, yeah, you got a big electrolytic there, so that would make sense. It's got a power supply.
Through the internet.
Then through the internet, through the ship. And,
That big electrolytic is power supply grade.
Right here?
never
Yeah.
dealt with it, so.
How many microfarads?
I have the
22.
equipment, but
100
I'm
UF.
still
Oh, yeah,
struggling to
That's a low voltage
find
power supply.
How many volts on the chip?
Well, yeah, AC input.
navigation.
I don't see a
It's
transformer
like,
though.
so some, when you have a repeater group or a repeater, generally there's a group of people that you can talk to. So how do you know what channel to go to? And so far I have yet to find very many interesting conversations taking place on MR. So you can actually, there's a Brandmeister website. I can send a link if anybody's interested, where through a web browser, you can find the channels and you can say, let me monitor, and you'll just listen
Something
in.
similar to Echolink, that you have the.
Well, not with
Well,
DMR.
this would just be one direction with DMR. It'd be one direction. You wouldn't be
DMR by Echo.
No, I'm talking about if you have an app that you can locate.
Yes.
Items and locations, okay.
So it'll list all the active Brandmeister channels, talk channels, and it'll indicate which ones are active and whatnot, and then you click on an active one, and then you can hear the people talking, but so far there are no interesting conversations that I'm interested in.
Well, you know, the beauty of a local repeater group is you're talking to people you know.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I guess once you get to know them, it's the same thing, only in different parts of the country. It's people you know after a while.
I did actually use Simplex DMR with a couple other hams that I rode motorcycle with, and that was our way of not having other people listen in or not being interfered with.
Right.
So we tried MRS, is that?
Oh, the home
MERS?
radio, yeah.
Oh,
We tried MERS for a while, and you'd be riding along, and all of a sudden you're talking to the cleaning crew at the hotel you're
Yes,
going
exactly.
past. And then, so we were on 2-meter simplex, but still, we would have other people coming in, and it was just annoying, so we decided to use digital simplex as our communication channel.
I got this right. Go, John.
CW not so, wasn't such a good communication.
Anyway,
I think
yeah.
you got that.
Just a couple of real quick show and tells. I was mentioning to John on the air the other night that I've got a second 1500 watt, well, it's like a 2 kilowatt tuner for my station, and I got it on eBay and just beautifully built. I unfortunately have it all put back together and everything, but it does work great. I've got 2 antennas for HF in this station, two main antennas. I use a horizontal ZEP, 100 feet long, about 50 feet tall, and then I've got a vertical 50 feet tall for HF, and both fed with 200 feet of ladder line. And I'm just using this computer. This is my shack here, and I've got this part cleaned up, but the other part of the shack's got a lot of stuff there from projects going on, but I can't even, let me see, I guess I better get my, if I can, let's see here. There we go. Anyway, there's the tuner right there. Yeah, there's a 7610 and ICOM 9700 and an R8600, but this is the tuner I just got, and it's just built beautifully. It's compact, but it's the capacitors and the roller inductor in it are just top quality. So I got it on eBay. I put some new knobs on it, Millen knobs that I just got, and I painted it the same color as the ICOM. So boy, real happy with it. That's for the horizontal, and then that thing right up wherever, right up there. That's the one for the vertical antenna. But anyway, that's my HF station right there, and I got 55 feet of bench and desk space here, a workbench over there, and stations behind me here, and stuff this way here. So, but what I thought I'd show you, I did some work real quickly. I won't keep it too long, John. I did some work on my 160 meter and 630 meter antenna recently. I've got 30 radials under it now. And it just works wonderfully. I put a pretty good signal around with that thing, and I use the KPH SDR to make comparisons with different antennas and radials and stuff. So anyway, that's that inverted L is fed with coax LMR 400, and it's got big tuners at the base of the antenna for the low and high end of the 160 band, and then also a variometer tuner for 630 meters. And I thought I'd show you real quickly. This is my 100 watt 630 transmitter, and it's a Class E transmitter, and works fine. I use a DDS VFO to feed the 472 kilohertz signal into it, and it puts out 100 watts here in the shack. And I use RF ammeters to confirm everything at the base of the vertical, the inverted L, and here in the shack. And so I've got that antenna tuned up real well, but I've got a homebrew 500 watt amplifier that's almost finished. And I had the discrete components to do the RF section of it, the Class E RF section of it, but I was able to get this little board here on eBay. I forget where it comes from, Greece or whatever, but it's pretty nifty with MOSFETs in it, and it's an 800 watt amplifier. So this is going to be the heart of my homebrew amplifier. And so this 100 watter will drive the 800 watt linear amplifier. This one's linear. And so like $125, and I couldn't beat the deal. I had most of the discrete components. I have the cabinet and everything all built up, and the meters drilled into it and everything. Looks pretty nice. And so you just mount this on separate heat sinks, which I've got, and put that on there. It's going to be 800 watts on linear amplifier on CW. It'll be like, although I don't run AM on 630.
160 meters, Steve?
No, it's 630 meters for this one.
30.
Yeah. I thought there were ERP limits on 630.
There definitely is, and the limit is 500 or 5 watts ERP, but it's on 630 meters. The efficiency on any antenna is very, very low, and I've got a pretty good system here. I've got 50-foot vertical on 630 with 230-foot top hats and 30 radials under it, and 2 of the radials are 130 feet long, and the other 28 radials are 75 feet long. So I use that on both 160 and 630. I use a KPA 1500 on 160 and on all the other HF bands. That isn't in the shack here. It's in a separate room, so it's just totally quiet. So it's just seamless when I run the ICOM 7610. It has no fans, and I don't hear any of the fans for the KPA 1500, and that's a beautiful amp too.
Yeah.
So what's your ERP on 160 then?
You're very efficient on 160 with that thing. That's even though I'm using coax on that thing, about 150 feet of LMR 400, it's pretty up there. That antenna is pretty efficient on 160, but on 630, well, you're lucky if you get 10% efficiency on any of these antennas. And if you look at the old antennas at Radio Central in New York back in the teens and 20s and everything, they used to have these, a couple miles of 400-foot towers with these fan wires feeding them. And I think their efficiency, and those were for real low frequency, like 30 kilohertz or 40 kilohertz, 50 kilohertz, near where WWV is today, on 60 kilohertz. I think the efficiency of those antennas is like maybe 20% with all those towers and all those fanned wires going out a couple miles. So anybody that gets on 160, I'll be running 500 watts, and I'll probably make my 5 watts with the ERP.
Wow, that's 1%.
Yeah, it's I'll measure it all out and check it out, but I'll have the capability to run that power because it really makes a difference. When I was putting the 630 station together with this thing, and my best DX on 630 is 60 miles north of Calgary, and out in Salt Lake City and stuff like that. So 630 is the biggest challenge you could ever imagine to make contacts.
Makes 160 look easy.
Oh, a piece of cake.
Wow.
Yeah, the one thing too that I'll mention, and the receiver is extremely important on 630, and I have a couple of different receivers, but I just have a new antenna, a DX Engineering Pixel loop. I forget, Pro 1B, I think it is. It's just on the roof of the shack out here in the backyard, and it's on a rotator. And it just works phenomenal. It's got the preamp inside, up on the antenna there, and it's only a 36-inch loop. But on 630, you don't use your transmit antenna for receive. You have a separate loop antennas and stuff. So this is rotatable, and there's lots of non-directional beacons down below 630 that are fun to monitor. And the atmospherics vary. Some nights they won't be real strong, but you'll hear them. Other nights, they're extremely strong from across Canada, and NDBs, and they're in CW, so they all identify in CW. So there's always lots of stuff to listen to, and it can tell you that if there were more people on 630, there'd be contacts to be made there. So I suggest to anybody to get on 630. That's the neatest challenge there is, I think, in ham radio.
My HOA would love me if I were.
Well, I have an HOA here, but I'm fortunate. I've got 3 trees on this corner lot. So, but no, every antenna I have is hidden. It's wires in trees or wires under the house, along the fence posts. That's why I have 200 feet of ladder line, feeding my horizontal, and 225 feet feeding the vertical. It's on fences, the back fence and stuff. So everything I've got is hidden here. If you see a picture of my house, you don't see any antennas.
Spell HOA.
So I feel like I'm asking a really stupid question, but given all these challenges, I'm curious why back in the 20s or whatever they were using these frequencies. Was that because the technology just wasn't there to use higher frequencies?
Yeah.
That's right. And they used those, and when hams were delegated to the short waves, in 1912,
right.
they were considered useless frequencies. And Yeah, so the shortwave bands, as we know them, 40 meters has only really been around since about 1925.
Right,
And
right.
going to 80 meters was about 1923. And the early grebe receivers, that was a big
That's a
thing.
century.
It is.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
changed the
You know,
whole
a lot
game.
A lot of those old transmitters had big old tubes in them. They were only rated for about 4 watts. Yeah,
That's right.
It was pretty amazing until,
Yeah.
right
it's
before
so
the
much
World War II,
Working
they started getting tubes that actually did something.
That's right. That's right. I've got a tube. It's an 861 up in the attic, and one of these days I'll build a final for my 1929 station. But it's 18 inches tall. It's literally, and it's about that wide, and it's a big bulbous thing, and it's beautiful when it lights up. And it's a 750 watt tetrode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Came out in 1929.
Yeah, the radio club here cleaned out a barn. We're down here in Davis. We're very close to Dixon, where they had a VOA station. Yeah. And the guy who lived out there on that farm was an ex-engineer. And that barn was completely full of dead finals for that VOA station. And his widow just gave us all that stuff. And there is a little unknown company in Woodland, 10 miles up the road, that rebuilds those tubes. Because apparently there is a big market for those amplifier tubes. And what they do is they would cut them open and replace all the guts and then seal it back up again. But I was amazed at how much they gave us for each tube.
Do you remember what tube it is?
No, I don't. I can't remember it. It was about 25 years ago, but it was pretty amazing. They said, yeah, these tubes are 30, 40, 50 years old, and they're still in use all over the world. So, no solid state stuff in those stations.
That's right. That's right. That's great. Well, John, that's about all of my show and tell on this end here. I don't want to keep anything too late on the meeting.
Well, it's just about quitting time anyway, so that's perfect. I want to thank Rob, John, Steve, and Kevin for tuning in to us. Glad to have all of you. The more the merrier on these meetings, whether it's Zoom or you show up, either way is fine.
Thanks to all the officers for re-upping.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
I second that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, John, everything you do.
Yes, thanks.
Well, we're slowly getting the last month was a fiasco on the emailing, I guess. Messed that
It's
up
all right.
time, but I think I got it pretty well straightened out. I kind of wonder about the legacy W6SFM emails. So I think eventually I'm going to slowly put the real emails in there instead. You never know how long that stuff's going to work because nobody's paying.
That's right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us even know how to do that, or if any of you, it's not worth the trouble.
Not sure
at this point.
anyway.
Yeah. But I just want to make sure that everybody's actually getting their email. That's heartburn on that. So,
yeah, it seemed to work okay. So
yeah. Thank you all for being here.
All right. Thanks, John.
Everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
Head for the barn.
I'm gonna shut it down.
All right, now.
Good meeting.
Are you two trustworthy?
No,
John.
trustworthy.
Yeah.
I am having a trust prepared for my family.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you,
Get
sir.
out of your hair.
Thank you, John, for hosting.
Thanks, Bob, because that's the only way I can come to the meeting.